Alrighty guys, welcome back to Heiko's Garage.
Yeah.
We're back in my garage working on the transmission for my 1974 R90/6 and nothing much has happened since the last video. Let's just turn the camera around and get working on this again. So here are the bits and pieces that I ordered. So these are the 5 bearings that go on the intermediate shaft, the output shaft, and the rear end of the input shaft. This one here is the input shaft roller bearing, so the front end where it goes into the clutch. It's a really stout bearing. And then some output shaft, input shaft, like circlips and such that we will need to reassemble it. I think that little thing is for that screw. I'm not 100% sure on that. No, it's not. I don't think so. Unfortunately, they don't have a sticker on there. I know I ordered it. And I have a pack of shims here. These are transmission shims. Of course, we still have the old ones that came with the transmission. But then if we have to reshim anything, find better combinations of shims, I have like whole selection, 0.3, 0.2, all that stuff. All right, and the stuff is still sitting here. We still need to do the cleaning here on the transmission case, but what I want to start with is taking the input shaft apart, get that front bearing, the roller bearing off the race as well, get this all disassembled. This is going to be a project in itself. I just went through my paperwork. So the gearbox cover plate washer ends with 003, which is this one. Apparently has to do with this little oil baffle, so I'm assuming that's where that washer goes, because ultimately you don't want dirt to go in or gearbox oil to come out. And this is right where the air filter would be sitting on top of here. So yeah, let's get started with this puppy here. We're gonna work on this, and we will need this new input shaft bearing, this one, and one of the 5 here. We'll see which one it is. I brought my freebie press in here. We'll see if that works. And then on top of that, I ordered a heavy-duty bearing splitter tool. Oh, it all came out of the box. Maybe I should just... No, yep, kind of like that. Amazon purchase, so we'll see if that works. All right, so let's get started with this little thing here. So here's a little sheet metal, kind of a splash guard or like a baffle. We don't want to ruin this when we pull this bearing off. And we also don't want to drop this on the ground. So let's see what we can use here out of this Chinesium bearing splitter. Stay. Lots of little bits and pieces, but I'm just putting a bolt in the end of the socket so that the rod here doesn't push on the socket itself. Let's see if that comes apart. All right, now we need a 17. Let's try to use a 17 millimeter socket. Yep. Oh, I hope my socket is not stuck. So this is the old bearing, this sheet metal baffle, and you don't want to ruin this, bend this. So we have to just remember the direction it goes on there. Okay, let's put this over here, and now we have to get this this bushing with that step also off of there, and let's see if we can use the same methodology here. Maybe if we stick the bolt back in here. I don't want to necessarily push on the shaft itself. As long as we can get a socket head. Oh yeah, perfect. So the damage is to the bolt, not to the shaft itself. All right, let's move this over here. We need to find the exact replacement here in this pack in a second. All right, here we go. Once again. Very good. So here's this little pop head bushing, and we can place the sheet metal piece back on there. All right, so now we have to somehow grip this and push on the end, and we can probably do the same thing we just did with the socket head. Where is it? Where did it go? It's a good question. Bearing? Funny situation here. Oh, it's still in here, dang it. So we need to just stick it in this end, and then we're gonna put our bearing separator. Now we have to get the longer arms here, or extensions I should say. Let's see. And we're pulling against spring tension, so all this is gonna move this, or the spring tension is gonna be moving this way. And let me grab some flathead screwdrivers. Maybe we can even pinch it into my, or hold it in my bench vise here. Yeah, I think. Maybe open it up a little more, couple more millimeters, yeah. All right, so I'm gonna pull this down now. I hope it's all gonna stay together. It should. We're again pushing not against the shaft itself, but against the socket head screw that we just shoved in there. That's good to protect the actual piece. Now the snap ring is already more or less exposed, and now we just need to try to get it out of the groove in this direction. Oh, let's see here. And you're not supposed to reuse those snap rings, so we're going to try to see if I actually ordered the correct ones. Okay, I'm just pulling it away with a pick and try to push it up with a screwdriver. We just need to get it out of its groove, and then oh. Yay. Yikes, almost had it. Okay, so we have it out of the groove, and now we just need to slowly, gently walk it up the hill. Sounds pretty brutal, but I think it's fine. Oh, and there's another groove. That other groove has what function? Don't remember. There wasn't I didn't take any snap rings off or anything. But yeah, there is another snap ring groove here. There you go, boink. All right, let's see if we have a new one. That's the same one. So that's snap ring, there. Snap ring 086. Bought it off from EME. I think I have everything. So we're gonna put that next to my bearing that we already took off. So now we have to slowly release that, just as gently as we tighten it up. I'm just using a normal wrench here, no power tools this time, until we have no spring tension on here anymore. All right, so here it is. So we got this is actually splined, so this goes on the spline here. Maybe it only fits in one. No? Oh, here we go. So the spline thing, the spring, shouldn't make any difference in which orientation. And then we have those two pieces here. So as I mentioned before, one of the two gears spins freely. And the whole torque transmission is done over this camming piece here. And now you can look at this. That looks great. No chipping, no burrs, no edges. And here on the opposite side as well. I'm putting it here on my workbench next to me, just in order so I remember which way it went on. And then this one here also just slides off. This all looks really good. We're going to clean this off, of course, before I put it back together. And now we have to get this race off. There is a little bit of a groove from probably the seal. So let's see how we're going to do that. Okay, let's see. I want to see the new bearing here real quick. And look at the inner race. Well, they packed that really well. Okay, here this is bearing 449, roller bearing in a little Ziploc bag. And there it is. And the inner race is also this top head shape. So that's good. We're going to put that back in its little baggie here for now. So we're not getting it all grimy. And this we don't need anymore. Okay, so I think we can just grab on here, on this end, and pull on it. And then see if we can maybe push something. But yeah. No. All right, let me research some other options here. Okay, I have a cardboard box down below, so if something falls, not moving at all. That's not good, guys. Why are we so difficult?
Five minutes later.
Now it's loose. Phew. You just have to keep your nerves until it breaks loose and then keep pushing. I hope you guys saw that. I think so. Ah, of course, now we're running out of steam here. It's kind of a jerry-rigged situation here. I have my hand under it, so when the shaft comes falling, it's not gonna crash to the floor. There you go. All right. Not too bad, not too bad. So we got this off. The shaft itself is fine. The end is fine. There you go. And here is the... It did that probably because my press wasn't pressing down straight, because it's such a rickety 12 ton press that was completely bent out of shape. And now we can clean this off a little bit and press a new bearing on. And that is supposed to go on here like so. And I think we might be able to, let's see. So again, flat side of the separator against the new race. This is not really flat here. I'm gonna flatten this out a little bit. Little lathe comes in handy sometimes. Just straighten that out so we don't have dimples and wear anymore. That should help with pressing flat on this thing here. And that looks pretty good. Let's see if we can push it in. That's good. So now we have nowhere. We have the inner race already on here. There's a little bit of some wear visible here from stuff sliding on the lands of the spline here, but the rest looks amazing. So let's look at each individual component one more time. So there's a little hole in there and another hole on the other side. That's probably just to get lubrication in there. The gears all look solid. There is a little bit of some pitting on there, a little bit. Yeah, ever so slightly. But I think that's going to be just fine. It will have to be fine. So this goes on like that. We might be putting a little bit of some gear oil on there. Let's find some gear oil. just some conventional ADW90, and I'm just going to put a couple drops here in a cap. Like that. And then we can put a smear on here. All right, and then the next part is the opposite end here. Is this piece. Good, the splines, there shouldn't be anything on there, no problems. Looks good. Yeah, that's fine. So that goes on here like that. Maybe we can also put a drop of gear oil on the splines, like that. Then the spring. Shouldn't make any difference which way. Then this puppy here, that's also splined in. And now we have to squeeze that together again with our $45 imitation cuckoo puller. So, let's find the correct circlip here, as we already identified. This one is already bent open a little bit, as you can see. The new one is a little tighter. Euromotor Electric's part number is GB Snapring 086. I hope. That's the one that we will only use once, because there was another one that this one here, 516 maybe. There's another one, 006. We shall see. Okay, here we go. So let's crank this down. All right, the snap ring groove is appearing. All right, let's leave it like that. So then, that's going to be interesting now, getting that back on there, because that one is really tight, very tight. I have a pair of pliers. This is for snap rings that don't have holes to push them apart, but I don't know if I can even get this far apart to get the snap ring pliers in here. No. Maybe we can use a normal pair of snap ring pliers. Use that to force it apart a little further. Yeah, not with these. No. Or maybe I have them in there. Now that new one is really tight, guys. Really tight. And now it's sitting in the next groove here. I guess that's why you're supposed to use new ones, to have the fresh tension on there. Okay, now we have it out of the second groove, or yeah, the upper groove here. Now we just have to push it all the way down. All right. All right, and I had a socket. No, that doesn't fit over it. Maybe we have a socket. Nope. 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 Yeah, you just have to make sure that it's really seated in that groove down there. Yeah, that looks good. And now we can take the tension of our $45 kit here. And then the ring should go flush into... Ooh. This is not how it was before. The ring was seated in there all the way. This is not. Guess we will have to push on that one more time. Oh yeah. So a little persuasion with a screwdriver to get it to just slip into the groove a little better. So now you guys can see that the ring is flush with the groove in this bushing here. Okay, so far so good. So now we have to put the other bearing back on there after reorganizing here for a second. So without you guys looking, I pushed on this bearing here, the top head, the little sheet metal baffle or whatever it is, sling ring, whatever you want to call it, in the bearing. I just pushed it on in the press in one go. Forgot to press the record button. All right, so now we're pretty much done with one shaft. Now we can focus on the second one. And I've just been reading, so some of our bearings come with seals on one side. The only one that I can find that actually has a seal on it on one side is here on the intermediate shaft. The other side is an open bearing. And then the output shaft has one larger one that's also not sealed, and the same one here again without seal. And they say to remove the seal on the input shaft, but this one here did not have a seal on it to start with. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to look on BMW's website and see what's stock here. So one side's definitely not sealed and this one is sealed, but should it be is the question. Inside is not. Yeah, I'll do some research. Yeah, I think this is a perfect moment to end the video. It has already gone on for too long, an hour 30 almost. So you got lots of details. I hope you like the very detailed videos. I guess there are going to be 3 to 4 more videos before we're done with this transmission. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one. Take care.